Hello, my name is Chi Den. I'm with Avignon Realty Coaching and Training. And today I will go over just an overview of the Texas Realtors Residential Real Estate Listing Agreement Exclusive Right to Sell. And this is use of this form by person who are not members of the Texas Association of Realtor Inc. is not authorized. So you need to be a part of the Texas Realtors or Texas Association of Realtor. And I will go over paragraph by paragraph. So paragraph number 1 is parties to this agreement, this listing agreement are. So the seller information will go here. The broker information will go here. And then down here it says seller appoints broker as seller's sole and exclusive real estate agent and grants to broker the exclusive right to sell the property. That's paragraph 1, parties. Paragraph 2, property. Property means the land, improvements, and accessories described below, except for any described exclusions. So the land information, A, all the information need to go here. And then B defined what are the improvements. C are defined exactly what are the accessories. And then D, exclusions. So the following improvements and accessories will be retained by seller and must be removed prior to delivery or possession. So that anything that that the seller did not want to retain, that needs to be stated here in D. If there's any initial for identification by broker, associate, and seller, those initial will need to go on the bottom here. Also, the residential listing concerning the property address would go up here. E, owners association. If the property is or if not subject to mandatory membership in a property owner association, then one of this needs to be checked. If it is or if it's not. Paragraph 3, listing price. So the listing price we need to be here. Paragraph 4, this is the term of the listing. The listing begins on this date and ends at 11:59 p.m. on this date. That's the term of this listing agreement. And then there's broker compensation. And that could be an amount or percentage. Then number 1 needs to be checked. The percentage will go here, percentage of the sales price. And this really go into how the broker compensation is earned and how it's going to paid is payable. And then other compensation, D. And then under other compensation, it goes into breach by buyer under contract. There's also service provider under other compensation. And then other fees or reimbursable expenses. Then you have E, protection period. This is the period that protection period means that time starting the day after this listing ends and continuing for X amount of days. Sale means that any transfer of any fee simple interest in the property, whether by oral or written agreement or option. Protection period. Number 2, not later than 10 days after this listing ends, broker may send seller written notice specifying the names of person whose attention was called to the property during this listing. And then there's county. All amounts payable to broker are to be paid in cash, and we want to put the county here. And then G, escrow authorization. Seller authorizes and broker may so instruct any escrow or closing agent authorized to close a transaction for the purchase or acquisition of the property to collect and disperse to broker all amounts payable to broker under this listing. And you have paragraph 6, listing services. Notice regarding public marketing. You can read through this regarding filing. Sellers instructs broker as follow. And then 2, broker would not file this listing with any multiple listing services or other listing service. If that's the case, then 2 will be checked. And then there's listing content, the definition. And then there's paragraph 7, access to the property, like authorizing access. Scheduling companies, if a scheduling company would be used, and key box. Is the broker is or is not authorized to place a key box on the property. One of this needs to be checked off. And then paragraph 8, cooperation with other brokers, MLS participants. If the broker represents the buyer, what's the percentage that buyer broker will receive? If they're not on the MLS, then what percentage would that be? And then there's intermediary status or no intermediary status. Confidential information during this listing or after it ends, broker may not knowingly disclose information obtained in confidence from seller except as authorized by seller or required by law. Straightforward. And then broker's authority. And what that looks like under broker authority. And seller's representations, except as provided in paragraph 15, seller represents that these are correct. Seller needs to disclose. And then seller's additional promises, seller agrees the following. Then paragraph 14 is limitation of liability, what the seller's obligations are. If the property is or becomes vacant during this listing, seller must notify seller's casualty insurance company and request a vacancy clause to cover the property, and broker is not responsible for the security of the property nor for inspecting the property on any periodic basis. More on limitation of liability, B and C. Then there's special provisions, only factual statement will go here. And what happened if any of the party default. And then there's option for mediation, attorney fees, addenda, and other documents that pertain to this listing need to be all checked. And then agreements of all parties. Then there's also additional notices here. Then broker, we need to print their name, license, broker, either sign here or broker associate signature as authorized agent of broker. One of those signature will need to go here. Then broker associate's printed name if applicable. And then over here, seller printed name, seller signature. If there's multiple seller, then there's 2 spaces here, broker / associate initial here, and then seller initial. I have gone through this very quickly, an overview of the residential real estate listing agreement, exclusive right to sell. I invite you to go to your mentor and broker if you have any questions and there's anything that's unclear for you. Thank you.